Okay, hi. I am going to try to give you a quick and dirty rundown on how to use DraftMaster. Haven't really planned anything out, so I'm just going to wing it. And I think I'm limited on the amount of time I can do for this recording, so I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes or so. First of all, from the Roto World site, if you haven't done this already, right here you've got to log in as me, right? And then right here you've got the link to DraftMaster to download the software. Click on that, it opens this up. Click on download, download the software, install it, and away you go. So once you install the software and start it, it should take you to your opening screen like this. Now I think I was mistaken when I told you that it would do an import. The only import that I think that it handles is from the myfantasyleague.com site. I've actually got a couple leagues that use that site, so I was able to do imports. But these other sites, ESPN and so on, it basically just uses the public league format to, I guess, start up a league from a template, and then you kind of walk through a wizard to create the new site. Um, so you can either, if you're using a public league, you can use one of these, or you can just click blank league, and then what you should get is a wizard that'll walk you through the setup. And I'm going to show you, I've already got one of my leagues already set up in here, and I'm just going to use it to save time. Um, but you open up or create your new league, and it's going to take a moment to open here. Uh, it's going to open up in some kind of default view that's probably going to look something like this. I'll click on McCoy here, and you can see you've got information on McCoy, some write-ups, and then tabs with past seasons stats and a forecast for this season. You can look at game by game logs for him. You can look at player news, and this will update periodically, and so on. What will happen when you are creating a league is it will take you through this league setup wizard, and I'm just going to walk through that. Um, this is the first step. It's going to ask if you want to do standard setup or advanced setup. Um, if you were using a keeper league or something like that, you'd want to do advanced. Usually standard works fine. I'll go next. Here you will click, oh sorry, for standard you can click the number of rounds here and so on to increase that. Basically you're using the entire player pool, so leave that alone. I'm going to kind of walk through the auction draft since you said you were doing one of those. Number of rounds, number of post-auction rounds, the whatever the team cap is. Let's say it was $200. I'll just type that in here. Minimum bid is $1, and so on. So I will go next. Set all coaches to the default salary cap, and I'm going to say yes. Then you're going to have your team setup page here, and when you come here, it'll say team 1, team 2, team 3, and so on. You'll put a check mark next to your team based on whatever your draft slot is. In this particular league, I was the 8th draft slot, so I put my check mark there. And I can move it up or down if I want. Let's say I the 5th pick, I can move it up like that or move it If you want to change a team name, you can simply click here in a backspace and type in a different team name, and you can do that to change all of the team names from team 1, team 2, and so on to the actual team names, or you can leave it alone. It doesn't matter because you're the only one that's going to be using this software, no one else. 15 rounds, 360 seconds. In this case, that's 6 minutes. You can set it to whatever limit you have, if you have one. Serpentine draft, and I'm going to go next. Then your basically your roster limits or your starting lineup limits: 1 quarterback, 2 receivers. Here I'm going to change this to or 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 defense, and 1 kicker. And I'm going to change this wide receiver, tight end flex to 0, and let's say you've got a wide receiver, running back, tight end flex. I'm going to set that to 1. And then you can set the maxes to the same thing, more than likely. So do it like that and go next. And then here's your scoring system. Now, this one's a little strange. I won't go into all of that, but what you would probably have for quarterbacks, for every passing TD, you might have 4 points, rushing 6, and so on. So I could go here. Let's well, let me add a rule just to show you. I'm going to add one, and it's going to be for let's say this is a PPR league. I can go receptions and 1 point for every 1 reception, and that applies to all positions except for kickers and defenses. And there you go, that's that one. Now you would probably go in and change each of these to be passing TDs 4 points across the board, rushing TDs 6 points, receiving TDs 6 points, and so on. Again, this is an odd league, but this is where you can set it all up. It doesn't take but a minute, and then you're done. And it should adjust all of your player scoring based on that here. But here you can see I've got overall, I've got quarterbacks only, running backs only, and so on. Somehow the order of these tabs got kind of mixed around. Here I can look at all my flex eligible players. In any case, you can look at each of these. If you want to customize this, you can click on this button and do customize layout, and you can choose different columns of information to appear in this player pool tab that you'll basically be using to look at during your draft. And then you've got different sections up here. This teams thing is really handy during the draft, so you can kind of keep track of, as the draft goes along, how many players each team has at each position. So if you see the 4 teams that are in front of you in the next round each have a tight end, you can probably say, you know what, I can wait on tight end because those guys have it. I'm going to pick up another running back and I'll get a tight end in the next round or whatever. So this I found is really handy. This best value tab is also handy. It basically tells you based on the Roto-World value rankings which players are best for your team based on their value, and kind of give you a first pick and a second pick in each position. That one can be helpful also. Depth chart can be helpful. You can look, if you want to look at depth chart for any given team, you can look at that. Let's see, player stats, comparison. If you want to compare multiple players, you can do that. Draft board will kind of show you, it'll show you draft pick by draft pick during the draft. So what I'm going to do is I am going to quickly do a mock draft just to show you, if you were to do a start draft like for a real draft, it would basically go through the same process, but with a mock draft it's going to automate all but your pick. So I'm going to start the mock, and so in this case it's going through an auction thing. So you can see here that I'm hearing in my earphones, which you're not hearing. It's saying going once, going twice, sold, and then it's placing that next player. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so I'm going to pause this, and then you can see best value. It's not pausing, so I can look here, and I can see what each team has spent, and then how much they are, what positions they have. So this is handy also. Any case, I think that might be enough to get you started. Just install it, fire it up, play around with it. You can do things like you can undock any of these. Let's say this one, I want to undock it and keep it in kind of a little separate window, floating or whatever. Or I can move it back, I think, just by dragging it up there and docking it again. So anyway, give that stuff a try and play around with it, do some mock drafts with it, poke around and see if it might be helpful to you. Hope it helps. Good luck.